I've met with several couples who do all the things that couples do for each other. They do all the things that married people are supposed to do in their married life. But there was something that was lacking, and it began to show. And when I was praying over these readings, and the testimony from Jesus came to the church saying, "The only thing I have against you is you have lost the love that you had at the beginning." And even though Jesus said that they were doing very well with all sorts of things and being very good stewards, checking out those who called themselves apostles and all this, making sure that they were credible and weeding out the imposters, and they were doing things that are very good to do. But they lost the love that they had at the beginning. And without that, St. Paul says, we are nothing. And so Jesus was calling them, like I've done with a couple of couples, and many have done in other ministries also, calling them back to that love at the beginning that brought them together. Without love, our communion becomes empty, becomes nothing. And what holds us together, the love of Christ, when it is not present, that bond begins to fray, and we become easily separated by the evil one. It is the love of Christ that keeps those bonds strong. And so when Jesus is speaking through John and calling the community to return to that love, he's calling them to just always stay connected to him. And to have faith that that connection can help them overcome whatever problem they encounter. And that is what we see in the gospel today. I imagine perhaps one of the reasons why people didn't want this blind beggar man bothering Jesus, maybe they were worried that what this man would ask, Jesus would not be able to accomplish. And it might harm their image of who this Jesus is. But how much greater their understanding of him must have become after seeing what he could do. And sometimes we can also get into our own mind, oh, I don't know if God can help in this situation, so we're not going to help this person or this group of people. There's nothing that we can do. And that's not the point at all. The point is that we are meant to bring people to Christ and let him do in them what he wants to do. And St. Elizabeth constantly reminded the people of her day, especially her family, that the lot of the poor in her community was not meant to be their life forever, and that there could be something done. And many times we get discouraged thinking, oh, it's just too big a problem. We can't deal with this. We can't handle it. And that's not the point. The point is to bring people to Christ Jesus, who can handle it, and who often works with us, in spite of ourselves, to do amazing things in people's lives. As we come to near the end of the liturgical year, we're being asked to really consider the long journey, the long goal, which is to enter into the kingdom of heaven, but not at the expense of forsaking the mission that we are doing here. And so we're called to keep one eye on heaven and one eye on the mission that we're doing. We may feel that makes us look cross-eyed, or at least kind of loopy-eyed, but it's a mentality, it's a seeing with heart, to keep our mind and our soul focused on heaven, but also on the mission that we are doing here. And to remember the love that called us into communion with Jesus Christ at the beginning. That love may strengthen us and encourage us to bring whomever we meet to Christ. That what may seem impossible in our eyes may become possible in God's time.